Alright. Hey guys. What's up? Alright. So, I'm not going to talk about anyone specifically today, but something happened yesterday, and it kind of got me pissed off, because it's not the specific, circumstance. Well, yeah, it's my circumstances plus the compiling on of what happened. So, let me just give you a little bit of, let's just get into it, sorta. So, yesterday, or whenever this goes out, today it's Friday, but Thursday when I'm filming, today it's Friday, so Thursday, yesterday for me, I was, just having my usual day, not really doing much. I was, kind of, well, I wouldn't say I was happy, or, having a good day, because, it's kind of boring here in quarantine, and I don't really do much in quarantine. But my mother came over to deliver a piece of paper that, just talks about money. That was just talking about the money that's been put into my bank account for unemployment and stuff like that, because I'm out of work right now. But every single time she comes over, it always just reminds me of that stupid bastard. No matter what, when she comes over, that feeling of rage just bubbles up within me, and every time I see her, every time we talk, it just reminds me of that fucking bastard. And he always gets brought up, because that's basically my link to the bastard, besides my bloodline, bloodline, along with and other things okay, it's gonna sound weird, but it's gonna sound weird to anyone who doesn't really understand psychology and triggers and things like that. But before she came over, it wasn't really morning, but before she came over, I did the dishes, because that's what normal people do when they don't have dishwashers. They have to do dishes. So I was doing the dishes, and before all the dishes were done and stuff like that, because I initially only have one set of dishes that are the things that you buy when you start out new, when you're kicked out by a fucking bastard and some dumb bitch in a therapy session, because she's just a fucking interloper who doesn't know what she's fucking doing. But there's that. And but that's not about her. But I was doing the dishes, and my mother before brought over some forks that she wasn't using because she's moving to Texas so the bastard has someone to, just keep abusing, which I don't know. Okay, well, it makes sense actually when you put all the links together and you understand narcissism and victims in that circumstance like hers. And I understand like what's kind of happening. It's basically sort of like an addiction to the thrill, and it's also, kind of that trauma bond, and it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that are happening, and it's fucked up. But I can't really do anything right now about that. I can only, do things that are within my power. So, like, until she wants to get out and, stop dealing with that dumb fuck. Like, that's all. She'll just be in that, constant state of abuse. Even though she has all the facts and stuff like that, she, But I was doing the dishes. She brought over some forks that I put in with the dishes, and because she doesn't want to take all the dumb shit with her. So, and I don't want to, start using forks that I know aren't clean because he's touched them. Because I know that the coronavirus is there, but I don't really care about that. That's not what I'm concerned with. I'm concerned that he has touched them and has probably, put all sorts of, diseases, and I don't want anything to do with that. So, before I even use them, I am definitely gonna wash them thoroughly and probably, sanitize them and boil them just to make extra sure that they are definitely clean, because I'm not putting something like that in my mouth or anywhere near my mouth with whatever he has going on. So, but I didn't get around to washing them because, it just kind of pissed me off. It kind of triggered that pissed off response. So before I even stopped washing dishes, I just threw them back in the sink, and they're there until I have, time to boil some water and, really get in there with a brush, or like I can maybe take them somewhere that I know and trust can sanitize those forks. She also brought some knives too, but I'm not going to use them as knives. I'm using them, more for self-defense. So they're definitely kitchen knives, but I'm using them for self-defense because they're sharp enough, and so I don't really have them with the regular silverware. But again with being pissed off, obviously, that's kind of what I'm going through. But sorry, okay, but she came over and she brought up something that, one, pissed me off in the heat of the moment, and, I was gonna retaliate and, do something, but retaliate, in the most petty way, and just she's using my Hulu account, like we're sharing Hulu accounts while she's still here. And I was just gonna change the password and tell her to either get her own Hulu account and stuff like that, and have the bastard pay for it. Because, like, I don't need to share it, but, you know, I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart and stuff like that, so. But we got to talking about we were talking about the hierarchy and, you know, how much she cares, but if you don't know, if you don't have any concept of Judeo-Christianity with the hierarchies of families, it goes husband, wife, children. It goes, so basically it goes, so God's gonna be on top, and then it goes the man of the house, and then it goes, well, back in the olden days it would be wife, children. They would be equal. They would be under property as well. And it doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter what they did, and it doesn't matter what you guys did. Like, you're basically separated by class and your gender and your age. But that's basically how it is. But she brought that up, like right before she left. Like, she said, it will always be my husband, which is a fucking narcissistic bastard who cheated on her, betrayed his best friend, and, you know, took all of us on a ride, used us for his amusement, and, you know, hasn't apologized in the slightest for any of that dumb shit, because, you know, narcissists aren't capable of taking responsibility for their actions. But, you know, oh my god, she is somehow gotten that mindset of it's always gonna be my husband, then it's me, and then it's everybody else. So children, pets. So I'm basically in that property mindset. Now I think this stems from going to Kathy Giedman and her fundamentalism, that, you know, that thing, which I don't know how that happened in such short time, which actually they were supposed to be going to some other woman as well for couples counseling, which I think that was Mary, which I'm not sure if I know she is, she's kind of a bitch when it comes to younger people. Like, she's kind of condescending and, you know, isn't really helpful in the slightest. But I could be wrong. It could be Kathy Giedman as well. But I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure on that one. So, but I kind of just want to talk about, you know, narcissism in religion, just in general. So, mostly in Judeo-Christianity, religions, like, you know, things of that nature, where it's only one, where it's monotheistic, one God, the creator being, and then it goes, God created man, and then man has somehow become superior to everything besides God, because he's a direct descendant of God, Then it comes in with women, because women were, created from man, and then, everything else after that has, its place, and it's like there's no equality whatsoever. It's basically that hierarchy of God, man, woman, children, and animals. And I think narcissism plays a big role in that, because obviously men wrote the Bible. Narcissistic men wrote the Bible. So they probably wrote that, okay, well, they probably want women, children, and other men that are beneath us won't listen to us entirely unless we play on their fear of damnation and bad things happening, and we use that our influence as holy men and say, okay, we can talk directly to God, and God's angry with us. So obviously we have the narcissistic men in power, in religious power, feeding people information about God, and they're using their influence for themselves. Because if you know anything about narcissism and things like that, just go watch some of my other videos, and then you'll understand. Or also, there's another channel on YouTube that talks all about narcissism from a professional and clinical perspective, and it's Dr. Romney. She's great. Like, I would definitely suggest go watching all of her videos on narcissism, because it's very clinical, and it's very professionally put. Plus she puts it in layman's terms, and she explains it so well. And it's like you can definitely learn something about narcissists from her. I mean, if I can, you can. So, there's that. But, so my mother basically said I was second rate to the fucking bastard. And yes, it did piss me off for a moment. But it also got me thinking, okay, for one, that's definitely a very fundamentalist religious stance. And she doesn't really strike me as a very religious fundamentalist. But for one, I think she was just trying to do it to piss me off. Yeah, it did piss me off, and which is a very dangerous thing to do. And I'm not really sure what her plans were with that, but oh well. But we all know when I get pissed off, I go on the internet and I talk about it. So maybe there's that. I think I know why she did it. I think she said it because she knew I would get on the internet, and she knew she had the idea that I would get on the internet and talk about the bastard, because I think he's been having trouble getting it up. Because they've been texting pretty much every day. Every time I'm with her, he always texts and always calls her. which in a normal relationship, in a normal long distance relationship, that would be understandable. But taking into account of his his constant need for validation and attention from his sources that he has picked out, I think he's having trouble getting it up because it's kind of getting boring because he's stuck in quarantine. So he's not getting his validation from other people in Texas, and so he has to keep texting my mother for constant validation and constant attention. So I think what she was doing, because she says he cares about me, he doesn't care. He doesn't like truly care. He cares if I can provide him with attention and validation. And since I don't text him because I have his, I think I deleted his number and blocked it again, but I don't know. But I deleted his number and blocked it, so we don't talk directly. So this is probably the only way that he's gonna see or hear about himself through me, using my words. So he's probably having a hard time getting it up with a need for validation from his other sources that he has built up. So that's probably why she said it, was to piss me off, so then I would talk about it on the internet, because that's pretty smart, actually. She's pretty smart. Now, it could have been his plan too, obviously, because they're in constant communication as well. So he could have implanted that idea in her head as well, because I don't know if she's playing dumb, or she plays dumb a lot, or if she really is, like, sorry mom, but like you play dumb a lot when it comes to our conversations. So she could have, But it could also have been him as well. This is not what the video is supposed to be. It's supposed to talk about, narcissism in religion, and no matter what, how people want to be treated equally. If you're in any sort of Judeo-Christianity, and basically fundamentalism, if you're a woman, it does not matter. If you're a woman, it will not matter. If you are, any sort of LGBT, you don't exist. And race on the surface has gotten better, but probably, racism probably it's still just as rampant, and still just as rampant within fundamentalist Christian values. But like, it doesn't matter who you are as a person. It doesn't matter how you act or anything like that. Like, you will always be treated second rate to the men in power, even if it's like in the family dynamic, in a nuclear family dynamic. It breeds arrogance throughout the entire family. Like, if you're going on that, religious path, I guess, it's more cult-like than you think. So I was debating on that, but because it kind of just breeds entitlement. It breeds entitlement with men, especially narcissistic men. It elevates their entitlement to getting whatever they want and to treat people however they want. Which, because they can look in the Bible and point out so many scripture and excuses and acts that were committed exclusively by men, that it's okay to them to act like a fucking piece of shit. And slavery and rape were back then not even really considered crimes unless it was done without the other man's permission. For do not covet your brother's wife, because women were considered property. So basically, it don't take your brother's wife. So if anything like that were happening back then, it would be up to the two men involved and what was really happening. Now, probably back then, if a man and his brother, if a man raped his brother's wife, probably, and the other man got pissed off about it, they would probably just, have him killed or, have him mutilated in some way, shape, or form. Like, you pick, it's like basically, it's a toss-up for what kind of punishment was going to happen to a man back then. But obviously now, in the year 2020, in modern day, at least in this modern day, we have laws protecting women as people because they're not property. They're not considered property anymore. So if any man were to rape a woman, it would be punishable by it would be federally prosecuted and jail time and things like jail time and stuff like that. But narcissist, and obviously we know all the things surrounding narcissism. Their charm, charisma, and the way they can work the system, and the way they use fear to prey on individuals that they perceive as weaker than them, so they can display their power over them. So that's, they have that, I don't know where I was going with that. Wait a minute. So, narcissist, any sort of narcissist, caught raping a woman, or what he would be, would be taken to court by the victim and the victim's families and other witnesses. A lot of times, they can, get out of it by the use of fear, by, scaring the woman, the victim, into, not talking. and they can use their, they use their charm and charisma within the courtrooms, and, if it's, televised and things like that, all you're going to really see is how they're manipulating the system along with, the system built for them. So it's rare that they would get jail time or anything like that. It's easier for them to avoid jail time and punishment by way of their narcissistic charms, charisma, and the tools in their tool belt, which is really fucked up, because that definitely stems from archaic ways of thinking of classism and gender politics, and having people being second rate. So, I don't know where this went, but it went somewhere, but I don't know, and I don't want to take forever editing this, but I hope this sort of comes out. So if you like this, or like anything that I do, subscribe, comment, do all the things, and I will see you all guys later.